Good evening, all. This is Dustin, aka Rope Aficionado, and this is the Dominance Dialogue. Tonight we have Nicco Noire, and we will be discussing the business of pleasure. Nicco, do you mind taking a moment to introduce yourself?
Hi.
Tell us a little bit about your experience.
Sure. So my name is Nicco Noire. I am a pro dom out of the DFW, Fort Worth, Texas. I'm a Texas native, born and raised. And yeah, I've had a pretty amazing journey, actually. Where do you want me to start? Do I start like
Wherever you
Catcher in
want.
the Rye?
This is your show, Nicco.
This is my show. Well, brace yourselves. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, I'm one of 7 children. I come from a really big family. A very religious Catholic background. I left my house very, very young when I was 16 years old, and I went as far away as I could get, and I went to San Francisco, and I went to school while I was there, and on a partial scholarship. Long story short, me and my mother had an agreement. She said, I'll sign the papers for you to go to college before you're 18, but you have to get your diploma, not a GED, nothing like that. You have to get your diploma. So I hightailed it through high school, and by the skin of my teeth, got my diploma, and I was out of my house at 16. And even though my mother signed for the papers, it really severed our relationship, because she kind of took offense to the fact that I wanted out of our home so badly, and I did. But in that, I was immediately immersed into an entirely different world. Now, this was, back in a different century. And it was a different time. And so I was a young person, and I was in college, and I was amongst people that were a little bit older than me. And I was a little bit deceivious and not as forthcoming with people as I should have maybe have been, but I was definitely underage. And I met wonderful people, and I just found myself in a different situation than I'd ever seen before. And it was fetish, and it was kink, and it was BDSM, and it was, role play and genders. And it was in San Francisco, and it was in, the early 2000s, and it changed my life. And so from there, I kind of had an understanding of myself at that point, and kind of an awakening, I guess you can say. And I realized, where my role, you kind of figure out fairly quickly, where do you want to be? Are you submissive? Are you dominant? Are you switch? Are you, it's kind of, you kind of fall into a position really quick. And I understood very quickly that I was an aggressor. And it was my natural instinct. It wasn't something that I had to force. It wasn't something that, it was just that it was my first. I let it lead. Uh-oh. Did we lose?
Broke up for a second, Nicco.
Oh, I never knew we were together, baby.
All right, we have you back.
Oh, good. I would hate to think we broke up and I never even knew that we were together. Shame.
We would have communicated better than that. We're professionals.
I would think that we are professionals. Yes, I agree with this. But so at a really, really, really young age, I was kind of in a world of kink and fetish, and it just opened my eyes to a part of myself that I never really knew existed, and I kind of dove headfirst into it, and I was very fortunate to be taken under the wing of the late great Mistress Lovelace. She, and I was so young and I was so naive, right? Like I understood that this was kink and it was kind of taboo and it was different, and I liked it and I wanted it and I was drawn to it, but I had no idea that it was something that you could do to make a living. This is something that you could do to, you know, to sustain your existence, and this could be a job. This could be something tangible. And Mistress Lovelace came barreling into my life like just absolute hell on wheels, just latex, 60-year-old wild woman, hair on fire. I mean, you know, cut out cups, the whole thing. And that was just how she lived her life. And I'd never seen anything like it. I'd never met anyone like her. And she invited me over to her house one day for tea, which I thought was very fancy. And I was like, I'm going to go have tea. Mind you, I grew up in a swamp in Houston. I've never had tea in my life. I grew up sharing a bedroom with, you know, 3 other sisters in a 1,400 square foot, you know, house with 1 bathroom. This woman just asked me over for tea. I walk up to a Painted Lady in San Francisco, which are these grand, beautiful Victorian homes. And she walks me downstairs into her parlor, which is furnished with naked men in masks. And they are tables and chairs and footstools and ashtrays. And she said, have a seat, pick your favorite. And I just, like, I had this, it was the most surreal, like, have you ever had a moment that it was just so kind of like, every fantasy or like sexual interest you've ever had at one time was just like fully condensed into one little ball, and then someone said, here, hold that. Like, that's what it was like. I was like, what the fuck is this? And it was it. And I, from that point on, she really took me under her wing. I was never a submissive. She took me under her wing as a dominatrix in training. That was what she meant for me to be. She did not want to see me earn my way. She just wanted to give it to me. And that is kind of the approach that I've always taken, I guess, with my style of domination. Is I'm very interested in fulfilling fantasies and being a bucket list experience for people. And she was very much an experience, and I took that to heart. She was dramatic and theatrical and beautiful and graceful, and she was mature and she was sexy, and men and women alike I mean, they would pave the roads with their bodies for her if they could. And I wanted to know what made them do this for her. How did she, what was this gravitational pull that she had that just drew? And she did. She was like, just, I mean, a flame. We were all just moths. It was just, you couldn't stay away from her. And she was loud, and she swore like a sailor. And I just thought she was the greatest thing I'd ever seen in my life. She was the brightest, shiniest thing. And so, as life has it, life moves on, and I went on. I had a whole entire life. I graduated college. I went on. I didn't even end up becoming an artist. I ended up becoming a chef. So I spent several years being a private chef, and then going on and being a professional chef in a very high-end 4-star steakhouse. And so I did that for several years. And I had gotten to a position with that company that it was time for my boss, the head chef, to retire. And so naturally I assumed that I would be taking his position. And they groomed me for it. I was ready. And then at the last minute, I found out they had hired outside of the company a man to come and be the head chef. And it wasn't because he was better than me. It wasn't because he was more capable than me. It was because he was just out of culinary school and willing to work for $10,000 less. And so at the end of the day, I said, I quit. Done, quit. And so I spent a week crying. What am I going to do? I just left this company that I'd been with for 15 fucking years, and they did me dirty. And now what am I going to do? So I'm sitting around crying, and my girlfriend is sitting around. She's crying with me because that's what your real homies do. And we're sitting around in her underwear crying, smoking pot. And she goes, "What would you do if you could just get paid, what you were getting paid as a chef, and you could just do anything you want?" I'm like, "I'd sit here and I'd sit in my underwear and I'd smoke pot." And she'd be like, "Have you ever been on Chatterbait?" And so with that, Chatterbait, again, was another weird door that opened my eyes to an entirely different facet of kink and fetish and role play and fantasy. And it became an outlet for me. And I thought to myself, why don't I go back to what I know? Why don't I go back to what Mistress Levelist taught me? Why don't I go back to what I'm fucking good at? And so I decided to become my own CEO, CEIEIEO. And I put my practice into practice. So, and that would bring us to present. And so here we are. I've been doing this for 15 years, and my wheelhouse spans the gamut. I am the Pantyhose Princess of Instagram, and I have worked all over the world. I've had the opportunity to live in Europe for 7 years. I had the opportunity to work in New York. I've been very fortunate in this career, and it's funny the things that you find yourself ending up being really passionate about. And I've found myself being very passionate about letting people completely unravel and just let themselves go. And I want to be there when it happens, and I want to make them do it.
Look, I don't even have to ask my first question. You already answered it. Perfect. Wow. A lot to sit there and think about. So I'm going to think on that for a little bit.
Unpack it. Go ahead.
We might come back.
Yeah, I'll be here.
But
it's fine.
We'll go to our next question.
All right.
What are some common misconceptions about being a professional dom that you'd like to dispel?
Oh gosh. Well, first of all, a real pro dom is never going to be full service. That's not my job. I am not and by the way, I am not in any way, shape, or form knocking professional service girls and boys and men and women and them and they and she and them and all of everybody. Listen, I'm not knocking it. Some of my nearest and dearest, trust me, make much, much, much more money than I ever have or probably ever will. and I respect it completely. It's just, that's not what I do. I work in very sexual situations. I work with very sexual scenarios. I am happy to fill fantasies and ideas and nightmares, but I am not a full service dominatrix, and I don't think any real dominatrix is. And that is a truth that I would like to dispel. because it muddies the waters. If you want to be a dom that's full service, that's fine. Present yourself as such. But don't say this is what I am and this is who I do, and then go and lower your standards and let a submissive enter your body. Just gonna throw that out there. And that's my opinion, by the way. And people can disagree with it all they like. That's fine. I'm fine with it.
Any other misconceptions that you would like to dispel?
Yes. Lots of misconceptions. This is just because I am an A-type personality. I am a dominant personality. But I am not laying in a Shea Lounge in a leather thong with Black Panthers and naked men around me 100% of the time. I do not have currently anyone living in a cage under my bed that I people ask, well, do you do this full time? Yes, I do this full time. I work out of my home. I live this lifestyle, and by live this lifestyle, I mean, this is my life. This is what I do. This is who I am. This is my understanding of the world and everything in it. I want to dispel the misconception that, all we're interested in are sissies, or all we're interested in are, lap dogs or human toilets. I think we're more interested in just human connection at a certain point. And I think that it is not unheard of for a dominatrix to just be human. It doesn't change the facts that exactly. I'm human, still a goddess, still, it's just human. Just like at the end of the day, you're human, and we're all the same. We're all the same. To an extent.
I agree. So I have a question in the chat.
Okay.
And I think I'm gonna try to suss it out, Max. And if I get it wrong, just correct me if I'm wrong. But it sounds like he's asking, can you mix domination and sex if it wasn't a client?
Well, yeah. Of course.
I think he was asking more specifically for you.
In my personal life?
Yes.
Well, so in my personal life, speaking for me personally, I don't have a singular relationship. Not to say that I'm poly or have several different relationships, but I choose to have no relationships because I have so many relationships with my clients. I probably have more orgasms than anybody I know. So the idea of having someone to come home to and then have orgasms for them too just sounds fucking tedious. So I choose not to have a partner. But if I had a partner, of course, domination would be part of our sexual relationship, but I don't think it would solely be my domination. I think it would be and not to say that we're a switch, because that's not right either. I think that if I were to have a partner, it would be just that, a partner, an equal, and it wouldn't necessarily have to be a top and bottom situation. It would just organically be whatever it was going to be, if that makes any sense.
I don't know. What? I think there's a lot to how relationships organically develop.
Yeah.
It's like you don't know until you meet your match.
And I think that's true.
So I actually misspoke, but we got more information out of you, so woohoo, right? Now I know a little bit about your personal life, Nico. But no, Max was asking why always exclude sex with a client. He says, I understand that it is not a standard, but why is sex excluded as an absolute?
Well, I have a lot of clients. If I had sex with all of my clients, first of all, I mean, it's a safety issue. It's a personal, and when I say safety, I mean STD, sexual transmitted situation. I can be in control of every situation there is known to man, but life will find a way, and I don't need it to find a way anywhere near or on me, in me. I'm good. I'm super good. I also don't need, and here's the other funny thing. People want to talk about worship, in particular, pussy worship or what have you. And no. Believe me when I say I have beautiful, clear latex panties that you can go to town on. But no, sir, you will not be sticking your tongue into my vagina, and I don't know you. Are you kidding me? Like, no.
So it sounds like it's more a personal preference then than an absolute.
No, it is a practice of self-care and self preservation. I couldn't, and why would I have sex with a submissive? Why would I have sex with a submissive? Why would I have sex with a submissive that wants to be so God, this is a whole other bag of cats that you're gonna have to interview me again to answer that one. I can get into it.
Well, I'm just saying, I have sex with submissives.
But I know you have sex with submissives. But was it fair to say that you're in a relationship with those submissives?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm not in a relationship with these submissives. These are pay to play clients. These are travelers. These are one-offs, and even long-term clients. The moment I give you my power, which clearly lies in my vagina, the moment I give that to you, what else do you need to come and see me for? What else do you need direction for? What else do you need fucking correcting and directing? Because my vagina clearly is the quan of that for those people.
Fair.
That's how I see it.
No, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, there is the power of the pussy.
The vagina is strong. Like it's no joke. So, I mean, this is terrible. And I can't even believe I'm going to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this. So back in the day when I wanted whatever I wanted, I would full blown do one of these and just a little bit of perfume, watch people jump how high. It's amazing what pheromones will do.
Oh, absolutely.
Just a tip, ladies.
Absolutely. I'm just gonna step away from that for the time being.
Sure.
Well, we may come back to that one. What? So we have a couple other questions. I'm gonna pause and save them to the end. Let's get through the ones that we had planned first.
Absolutely.
But we will try to save some space for questions.
All right.
Could you walk us through the psychological aspects of a domination session with one of your clients?
I can give you the general premise, but I can't get, so, all right, let's get into it. So I've been doing this for a really long time, right? And I have, so there's definitely flavors of people, types of people, you'll have, let's say, and for what I do, you'll have sissies or foot fetish people, or people who are into CBT and bondage. So it's a pretty broad spectrum, and so to satisfy the wants and needs of a fetishist versus a pain slut versus a sissy versus someone who is an absolute novice and is nervous and scared. Those are all situations that happen on a regular basis, but are all typical sessions for me. Those are all typical sessions for me, right? So, but none of them are the same. But I would say, for me, I definitely think someone who's never seen me before, or who've only seen me on YouTube or my OnlyFans or whatever, when people first come in, I definitely kind of try to ease their mind, have a conversation, communicate with them, talk about what it was they were looking for and why they contacted me for it, what they're looking to achieve, and what their, dreams, goals, aspirations. Long walks on the beach. How do you take your coffee? So, I mean, that aside, the psychological aspect of it, for me, it is a case-by-case basis, because it is so different for each person. And I think that's probably one of my favorite parts of what I do, is that it allows me to really be very customized with each individual and let them be individuals in the session, and let their fantasies and their ideas and their motivations for their kink and their fetish really shine. And I just want to be the catalyst of it, and I want to help manifest it. I want to be there. I want to see it. I want to, yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I want to be there. I want to see it. I want to watch it. I want to watch them unravel. I want to see that epiphany on their face. I want to be there. And so that's really, I think, the part of what I do. I think that is my pleasure and my enjoyment is being there and watching and being part of it. Yeah. And being part of it and sharing this moment with somebody, because this moment's never going to happen again. They've never experienced this before. No one's ever going to forget my name. I guarantee you. I promise you. And if you do, fuck you.
Is this how you're building your fame?
Yes. Yes.
Makes sense. I think I'm doing the same thing.
Good.
Damn it. All right. I can't say nothing. That leads us really into the very next question. So how do you tailor a session with a client?
Well,
I mean, especially with someone that,
because it's so
you mentioned, a novice.
So yeah. So you find out you're kinky. What are you gonna do? Go to a pro. Honestly, of course you're gonna mess around with people. You're gonna do this. You're gonna do that. But if you really want to know, go to a pro, because literally that's all I do. And I've spent my life doing it, not just, time here. And this is all I do. I don't have a 9-to-5 vanilla job. No. I left that back in fucking 2000 nothing. I don't fuck with that. This is all I do. So that means I've spent nearly a decade becoming I don't want to say a master. I feel like that's very I don't feel like I'll ever be the master of what I do, but I feel like I'm going to get really fucking close to a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's always more to learn, but you sit down, you talk to somebody, you ask them, what are your interests? What's your experience level? What are you wanting to achieve? Why are you wanting to achieve it? What do you not want to experience at all? What do you not want to happen? Like, that's what I need to know. What do you absolutely, that's something that people should definitely think about. The correct answer is not whatever you want, mistress. Don't come at me with that. I don't know, mistress, whatever you like. Well, I'd like you to go wash my car. And then I'd like you to go mow my lawn, and then I'd like you to get the fuck off my property. But that's not the answer they're looking for. I don't think.
Sometimes it is.
Sometimes it is. It has been a couple times. But I'm just saying, don't have an idea of what you like. You know you're kinky. You know you're kinky for a reason. What's that reason? What was it that tipped you off to be like, oh shit, I think I really want to tie women up. Oh shit, I think I really want to, what gave you that innate desire to want to be a dominant force and to be an aggressor? And I think that's the thing is, because no one's going to tell you otherwise, that what you are and are not.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's kind of the difference between A types and BC and whatever. It's that no one's going to tell me anything about me that I haven't already deeply delved into, and in the parts of me that I haven't. Nobody's going to. It's something that I have to. It's a matter of self-discovery. Whereas I think people who want to be submissive, people who want to be of service, and in that situation, I think they are much more wanting to be molded into something, and into the creation of your liking, as opposed to just being a creation. And I feel like I just I'm already out the kiln. Like, we're done. There's no more molding and shaping of me. The only way I'm going to change is if you pick me up and break me. And good luck.
So you're saying it's like you just can't teach you any new tricks?
No, that's not true. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying. I'm saying that I know who I am, and I know that I am not not moldable in that way. I don't want to be changed. I just want to be who I am, and I don't really want to change other people either. I just want I want them to achieve their goals for themselves, and I want to help manifest that for them, if that makes any sense. In a very roundabout way. Does that make any sense? Did I just go off on like some big stone babble? I'm sorry.
We've talked about it a little bit, like, and just other conversations that we've had, but
yeah. And
I'm not trying to call you out on air or anything, but a lot of it does seem like that you facilitate, right? Well, you are wanting to bring fantasies to reality.
I think that's definitely a fair assessment. I think that's a fair thing to say. But I also think that within that, who I am at the core of my being is always going to be an A-type, alpha female personality. I like to facilitate to, I'm I'm trying to think of the right word, and I know I'm gonna fuck it up, but I want to be the catalyst for people's dreams and nightmares and fantasies and realities, and you know, I want to facilitate that, but I want to do it from a place of I want to be the genie. But does that make sense? I want all the power. Just itty bitty living space.
I can appreciate that analogy.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, like, from my perspective, a lot of this sounds like it's topping with dominance flavor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
It's given that you're not. And
go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say, because if you're not in a relationship and it's just moment by moment, it's more about the physical action.
Yes and no. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm running a business. I'm very much a businesswoman. This is also a financial endeavor for me. But before that, it is definitely a passion of mine, and because it does span a gamut of different situations, and because I am single, I guess I definitely come from a place of power. I definitely come from a place of dominance, and that's what people are coming to me for. They're definitely not coming to me to, you know, skip rope and chew gum. Like they're looking for a power play, and I'm happy to give that power play. I like that exchange. I don't want to be their friend. I also don't want to be their mother. I want to be a point of I want them either to aspire. I want to be something for them to aspire to be or to have. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
A point of desire.
Absolutely. One of my favorite quotes when it comes to dominance is the greatest demonstration of the dominance is to intentionally create desire only to capriciously rip it away.
Whip it away. Yeah. That is very, very good. And I agree with that. I'm happy to create a thirst trap and then leave you in the fucking desert. I have no problem doing that. In fact, I'll set it up. The desert and the trap.
The desert and the... Does that cost extra, or is that like in the combo package?
Like I said, I'm not full service.
I was just making sure I got the desert, you know? Jeez, I wanted the desert and the trap. I always said I was going to die by a pretty girl and a knife.
Well, you know, everyone's got a dream.
Yeah. So moving on.
Yeah.
In what ways do you think that your work empowers both you and your clients?
Oh, gosh, that is such a loaded question. Dustin, that's such a loaded question. It empowers me so immensely. I am my own boss. I make my own schedule. I agree to all of my sessions. I don't have, I've made, but I work very hard to be able to have the business that I have now. It did not just happen overnight. I didn't just say, hey, I think I'm going to be a dominatrix now. And then I was. It was not like that. You know, I've worked in Amsterdam, I've worked in Germany, I've worked in Belgium, I've worked in Italy, I've worked in New York, I've worked in Canada, I've I've put in my time and my effort into this, and the rewards that I've gotten from it is my freedom. I have my freedom. You know, I bought my house. I have a piece of land. I set my own schedule. I don't answer to anybody. And if they don't like it, I don't fucking care. I don't care. I worked too hard to have anybody tell me fucking anything about anything. And that's I think the most empowering thing that my being who I am has given to me. And putting my kink into play and putting who I am, because when I have a client, I give 100% of my attention and my anger, my happiness, my sadness, my pain, my joy, all of those things, I give them 100% to each and every one of my clients. So believe me, I am exhausted at the end of the day. If I see one person every single day, I am fucking wiped out, because I have just spent 3 hours just channeling 100% of myself in some format to another person. And not only that, but I've been taking in 100% of whatever they're giving me. And it's very powerful. That said, I think that exchange is what's empowering for my clients. I think them being able to unravel and become something else, and a different person, a different animal, a different nothing. I think that going from, let's say, something to nothing, that feels kind of good. Like, that feels like just saying that out loud feels good. Like, oh God, oh, something to nothing. Fuck yes. Let's have some more of that. Can I have some more nothing, please? That would be wonderful. Like, and I feel like if I'm able to give someone that moment of nothing, then everyone's winning.
Almost like peace.
Yes, it is like peace. It is peace. It's not like peace. It is peace. It is exactly what it is. It's peace. It's absolution. A moment of absolution. It's a moment where your brain isn't arguing with your body, where your body isn't arguing with your brain, where your brain isn't arguing with the world. Your body is accepting everything that's coming at it, and it's quiet. It's silent. Nobody has anything to say because everybody agrees, and it's absolute. That's what I think. Yeah. If that's any insight to what's going on in here.
Well, it was really interesting in your little soapbox.
My little soapbox.
Spurred a thought. Well, you've had a couple little soapboxes.
My soapbox is fucking enormous. Don't even act like
okay,
it's not.
All right. So you're a size queen. Okay. So when you were talking about like giving energy to your clients.
Yes.
And I think about like the term energy. We talk about it often, energy exchange, power exchange. And I've thought about like when I have a partner, when I have a submissive, or even if I'm playing with somebody, how it is physically, mentally, emotionally draining.
Yes.
And I don't know why, but I don't think until just this moment, I also connected that I'm pulling in some of their energy too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I knew this for some reason, but like in my head when I'm thinking about an impact scene or thinking about an interrogation scene, I'm not necessarily thinking about the energy that I'm picking up them from there.
Sure.
I don't know why.
Well, because you're in your moment, like, right? So let's for instance, let's take an interrogation scene. So you're the aggressor. You're coming at someone with and I'm assuming that you're a lot like me in the sense that you're giving 100% of your attention and your focus to your partner. So that in and of itself, I mean, 50%, like right now. And so, and that's just you. And so now you start taking in their energy. Well, the energy it takes to take in their energy, and maybe they're coming from a place of not fear, but excitement or anticipation or unknowing, or you know what I mean? It's never fear. It's always a place of excitement. It's a type of excitement, anxiety, anticipation, the I guess fear of the unknown. But your partner never fears you. Your partner knows you. Maybe the scene is intense. Maybe the interaction is intense, but never should there be fear, true fear. I think between partners, I think there should always be the underknown fact that you're safe and your consent is required for all things, you know? So I just went off on another tangent. I don't even know where we started.
I had an aha moment.
I know you did. I'm sorry. I cut you off too, didn't I? Fucking A, you need to tell me to stop doing that.
I got two things now to talk about. So my aha moment was, for whatever reason, and I really gotta suss this out, but like I literally just a light bulb fucking clicked. And I'm sure you guys probably seen it. But I've always thought of this as like, my dominance feeds your submission feeds my dominance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna throw myself under the bus. I don't think from an emotional space often.
Okay.
You framed it emotionally. You framed it happiness, sadness, joy, pain. I don't remember what all you framed. But then you also said, you're going to receive that.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't think about the emotions. I thought I was only receiving submission. Hold on a second. Now I got to start negotiating for what emotions I'm going to get.
Yeah.
Oh, this got complicated.
Yeah. Because now you've got an entire matrix of bullshit coming at you that you have to navigate on top of your dominance and their submission. It's a lot. I mean, you're a multitasking motherfucker.
I am.
No, I know you are. And then on top of that, you're probably got some ropes going on, or a hostage, or who knows.
Who knows?
It gets weird sometimes.
So, I want to go back to fear.
Yes.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you.
Okay.
The person should know that they're safe with you.
Yes.
But I, without a doubt, know that the fear can and will be real. Fear is a natural reaction.
I think the fear of bearing the burden of your consequences is real. If you have an agreement or whatever the situation may be, that if such and such equals such and such, I'm going to tan your ass. I'm going to make it purple, and I don't give a fuck. And you can cry and you can whine and you can bitch and you can moan, and I don't give a single solitary fuck, because this is the agreement that we've made. And you're going to uphold your end of the deal, because that's also the agreement that we made. If you don't want to uphold it, that's fine. You don't have to. But then I don't want to uphold my end of the agreement either. So we are at an impasse. And I mean that in the most respectful of ways. But the fear of that ass whooping, oh yeah, that's legitimate. That is legitimate. I would not look forward to the purpling of my ass if that was the agreement that I'd had with my submissive, or my it doesn't even make sense to me to say that out loud, with my dominant. If that was the agreement I had, yeah, I would fear my penalty. but I would never fear my partner. I know that they would never give me more than I could handle, and I know that they would hear me if it was more than I could take. And I think that in that knowing, it alleviates any fear that you should have of your partner. If you really have a very open and real, legitimate communication with one another. I'm not to say that you shouldn't get all of your punishment, but if you get to a point in the punishment that something becomes too intense, something becomes too much, that's fine. We can back off of that. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, but I still think we're in a little bit different spaces when it comes to fear.
Well, I think I agree with that too. Being female, I have an entirely different perspective of fear of male aggression towards females, and I don't think that men are naturally and I don't want to say aggressive, but I don't think they're not naturally violent. They are not. I do not feel that I am in danger. If I am one woman standing in a group of 20 men, I do not feel like I'm going to be raped. Do I have my head on a little bit of a swivel? Yeah, of course I do. But I think you should. I think anybody should. I think if you were standing in a room of 20 men, maybe you should keep your head on a little bit of a swivel too. Absolutely. You know, I'm not right, you know, and it's not just the female standard. It's sad though that we have been, that women in general, we've been pushed into a spot that we have started creating an entire generation of men that are very lackadaisical in the way that they have chosen to go about their identity or their, you know, and I think we've made a very androgynous society, and it's because I think wounded women have wanted to make softer men because what they've experienced in the past has been very damaging. And as a result of that, I think it severely has damaged men being able to find their own masculinity or their own, you know, whatever the sense may be. And I don't care if you're straight, gay, androgynous, this, that. I don't give a single fuck. I love every single buddy, every single person equally. I hate every single person equally. I have no preference of person. Do you know what I mean? I think we're all dicks. All of us.
Just some are bigger than others, right?
Some are bigger than others, but we are all dicks.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't want to get lost in the.
That sounds so negative, and I don't mean to spin it that way, but you know, it's hard to find. It's hard to find that happy medium when it's extremes that have pushed everything to almost kind of a beige state. It's like we had very distinct places to be, and not that you have to be there, but I'm just saying we've merged into one thing, and I think it's become very confusing for the younger generation of people, because you come into this world one of two things. It's just that clear cut. You come in as a boy, you come in as a girl. What you choose to live as, I don't care. It's indifferent to me, and I support it, by the way. But what I'm saying is, I think the fact that we haven't taken time to teach women to be women, men to be men, and then let them make their own choices on which direction they want to go as adults, has been very Both. I think it's been very confusing for the newer generation, but very liberating in the sense that no one has to conform to any specific. They don't have to, there's no boxes to check anymore. And I don't even know why we fucking need boxes anyhow. Whose business is it? No one's. I don't care.
I don't know how we got here. As much as this is a conversation I want to talk about, I want to go back to fear because that sounds like delicious.
I guess that's where I was going with it, is people are afraid of what they don't know. And what we don't know is the blending of all of the genders turns into one androgynous thing, and it makes us everything and nothing all at once. And I fear that because I fear that we will lose ourselves, our personal identities, what we came into this place as, regardless of whether or not we choose to live that life.
Hey, wait. We're supposed to be talking about submissives fearing us.
No,
not our fears.
I don't know.
We're not fear bottoms here.
Love me. I just want to rule them with fear.
Exactly. I don't know. For me, like when I think about fear is something that is.
I lost
we have the ability to process.
It's not you. It's me.
Oh, no. Okay.
I can't hear you.
You got another headset or no? I guess, wait, you can't hear
there you go. I found you.
Me.
I'm sorry, darling.
No, you're okay.
But I guess maybe I should wrap it up somewhat quickly because I might die out on you. I think that's what it's telling me. It's telling me it's trying to die.
Okay. Well, then we will try to get to wrap up, and maybe we'll just have to bring you back on another one.
I told you you're going to have to interview me again.
Fair. Well, so let's go to the questions in the chat.
Yes, please.
And then if we can go to the questions that I proposed in the next interview, or we'll get to them later.
I apologize.
They're okay. My headset's not that charged either because I didn't think I was going to use it tonight. So it was you or me. I'm just going to say ladies first.
How is it? I came in swinging.
Yeah.
And I'm the one going down for the count. It's killing me.
So the next personal question, if you don't mind asking or answering.
Absolutely not.
Is, so do you want an equal relationship with a partner if you were to want a partner?
Yes, I do. I want someone, I want an eye-to-eye equal, 50-50, understanding, communication, the whole, Yes. Sure. And what that means, I don't fucking know. But yes, that is what I want.
Okay. Well, I imagine if you met that person, you'd be able to define it with that person.
Well, I agree with that. I agree with that. I agree with that. Yeah.
Fair enough. So personal life, no DS.
No, I'm talking to somebody, but it's very new, and that's all I know. That's all I know. But what I have found is in the past when I've tried to have any sort of, what in the hell is my cat doing? Any sort of deep connection with somebody, what I do, it's always what draws people in, but it always ends up being something that pushes people away as well. And that has been a struggle in this profession. And I think it's also something that's probably kept me kind of functionally off the market, just in the sense that it looks great on paper, but the reality is entirely different. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah.
You didn't read that in the fine print, right?
No one ever does. No one ever does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine if I'd offer my perspective, you know, when people come to me, a lot of times they come to me, they find me through my following, this, that, or the other. And it's like shiny eyes Disneyland.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, after a little bit of time, it tends to put a rift.
Yeah, the reality of me is not necessarily as attractive as the fantasy version of me. And not to say that they aren't one and the same, but they are different. You know what I mean? Like I'm Nicco Noire all day and all night, but at a certain point, Nicco Noire becomes a real person. Like for an hour at a time, I am very bright and very shiny, like you said, but come at me 24/7 and tell me more about how you love Nicco Noire. You know, we're real people, you know, and
Absolutely.
we have real life, you know, real life. And not to say that we also don't have these amazing kind of fantasy lives as well, but there's also a real life aspect to who we are. And, you know, let's say, for instance, you know, I have a sibling that's going through some very heavy stuff right now with a teenage child. So that's my real life. You know, that's my sibling. That is my, and I don't want to disclose anything, but that's my family. And that's something that I have to deal with. And I, at a certain point, have to set this down and be, you know, there for there's an element of we're so deeply faceted as humans that it's amazing how you can just switch and become. It sounds very schizophrenic, doesn't it? like no. You just switch and become somebody else for somebody else, and I'm not becoming somebody else, but I'm definitely dropping an aspect of myself, and I'm picking up a different aspect of myself, and then that person be, you know, let that person drive at the. Does that make any sense? I sound crazy.
Oh, absolutely. No, I mean, like it's simple as like know your audience.
Yeah.
I mean, while at least my mother and some of my family support and know what I do. They listen to my podcast. They follow my content. I also know that some of my family, they don't want to hear about it.
They don't want to know a thing about it.
I also know when I'm at the Bob Evans, you know, I probably should be talking to the waitress about it or something, you know?
Exactly. You're not going to show up at your little nephew's school recital and talk to his teacher about how you just put someone in a TK POW and this, that, and the other thing, and you're not going to do that. Like, you're just not going to have that conversation unless for some reason she's got some kind of crazy rope marks over here or something. But other than that, you're not going to have that conversation. I've seen crazy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think the real important thing is that wherever you are as a content creator, I mean, because to some level, that's a big part of what you do is you also create content, right? You create fantasy.
Yes.
Behind that, it's a person, same person, like, or not the same person, but just like everybody else. We have feelings, we have emotions, we get sick, so on and so forth.
It's funny that you should say that. Go ahead. Oh, two doms walk into a bar.
At least they're respectful.
Yay, right? So what I was going to say is, it's funny that you should say that. So just recently, of course, my clumsy self, I'm getting out of the shower. It's wet. I slip. I roll my ankle, and I don't just roll my ankle. I mean, big purple nastiness, right? I have a week's worth of work lined up. I've got big sessions. I've got people that are, they're only going to be here for 2 days. Like, I'm letting people down, and I feel like a dick. I'm letting people down. I'm sending back their deposits, which, by the way, I never do. But in this situation, I do, because I'm an honest businesswoman. And if you're not going to see me, I'm not going to take your fucking money unless you stand me up, in which case that's what a deposit is for. But anyhow, so I'm canceling sessions, and these people are pissed, fucking angry. What do you mean? What do you mean you can't walk and your leg is purple? Well, I'm like, I'm very sorry. I apologize. I'm happy to refund your deposit. I do not in any way, shape, or form expect to keep that in that situation. And they don't care, because they don't see me as a human being. I'm truly either something that is being bought and paid for in their eyes, or I've been objectified to the point that I am not actually a living, functioning being. And it sucks when you realize that people, they don't care that I, single woman living by herself, slips in the shower, practically takes off, half a leg. Like, what the fuck? No one's
too
like,
young and pretty to die, Nicco.
Can't we talk about it? But no, seriously, like, no one is sitting there going, oh my God, are you okay? Do you need help? Have you been to the doctor? Not a single person says that. People are like, well, fuck. Well, fuck indeed. Like,
So now I got a question. You don't have to answer it. Would you rebook with one of those clients that said fuck? That balked at that?
100%. Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, I would.
Even though they're shitty clients.
But
I said it, not you.
You said it. But here's the thing. Yeah, absolutely. To their lament. You wanted to be a sissy? You wanted to be a bitch? Brace yourself. Brace yourself. You are going to get your fucking money's worth. Fuck indeed. Fuck indeed. I hope that, here's something else I found out. If people do book with me after doing some dumb shit like that, shame on them. You get, you know what? We all get what we deserve, don't we?
I mean, maybe that's like a different new aged evolution of brat, right?
Oh, right? Like,
oh,
go to Rope Aficionado. All the brats, go to him. He will break you. Me, I want your submission. I want you coming to me on your knees. I don't need to break you. I want you broken.
Fair. I like to bend people, like, a lot. Make them look
sexy.
like a U.
It's kind of uncomfortable.
I think it's...
Whatever.
Do you mind if I dive in a little bit to like some of the, dehumanizing of the... I mean, because as a content creator, I feel that myself. And honestly, I can say I'm very thankful for it.
Yeah.
Because I think, it's offered me a level of compassion to women that I never would have had. And I can be completely honest with that.
Example, please.
I'm objectified by women all the time, and most men don't get to experience that.
That's fair enough.
And it's definitely made me feel some type of way more than once. To the point where the last year and a half, I've started making my rope content. I started doing coffee and conversations. I started posting some of my hiking pictures. And I joke I'm just Dustin.
Right.
I never planned to be a rope aficionado. This was never any like business venture for me. This was just, I originally started sharing pretty pictures.
I understand that. I do understand that. I had someone run up to me just recently. I was at the gas station pumping gas, and someone comes hurling over across the gas station with their phone, running with their phone in their hand like this. And there's a picture of me naked, and they're like, "Are you Nicco Noire? What the fuck do you think? What the fuck do you, can I take a picture with you?" No. But it was so like, can I just pump my gas? Like, look, I'm not famous. I'm not saying anything like that. I mean, yes, okay, fine. In small little tiny circles, people think I'm fancy. But I'm just saying, this dude comes barely, and it was unnerving. It was disarming. And it was mostly just like, have some tact. This guy, I mean, running like he was like gonna get a fucking medal for it. And I'm just like, what is this dude? It made me, at first it scared me. I have this guy running at me with a phone screaming, "Is this you?" Well, yeah, clearly it's me. And who else is it gonna be? Is this AI? No, it's not AI. You know, people, if you see someone that you're in, that you follow, that you're into, that's your person, cool. I get it. Like, I get it. But don't do that. Don't do that. Like, be better. Because it's.
No, I think that's a very valid point.
It's weird.
I mean, I think that it's almost violation of privacy.
It felt
and
very
I'm trying
much
to choose the right word here.
Yeah,
and
I don't know if that's
privacy is the one.
Yeah, it's definitely like, you know, yes, I am Nicco Noire. Obviously, I've made the choices to put myself out there. I am on the internet. You can find me everywhere. I've made those choices. But when I'm pumping gas at, you know, 1:30 in the morning, I don't, at a full gas station in the middle of Dallas, Texas, I don't need some dude screaming, "Is this you?" with a naked picture of me on the screen. Like, it just, it makes for weirdness. And did it make me uncomfortable? Only in the simple fact that this dude came hurling at me from across the parking lot. But it definitely, it felt like a violation of, oh, it would make anyone uncomfortable. It would definitely, but it definitely had a violating personal space situation happening that I was against. So, and that, I mean, that was just a few weeks ago. So it's like, I don't, yeah, another tangent I've gone off on. Well, see, look what you do to me.
It's weird. I've thought about it often.
Yeah.
The responsibility of like the choices that we make.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I never planned to be some big content creator.
Right.
And then it just started taking off like wildfire. And now I feel
it's because you have a talent. It's because you have an ability. You have a passion, and it shows. You're an attractive man, and you know, I'll be the first person to say it. There's a lot more pictures of pretty ladies in the world than there are pretty men, and like and pretty men from head to toe, and so, you know, I understand what you're saying. Like, there's a feeling of definitely feeling the world looking at you. You know, when we had COVID, I thought it was the greatest thing that could have ever happened to me in the history of the world, because the bane of my existence was having to go to the grocery store, because I can't walk through a fucking grocery store without literally watching every head in the place turn, and the wives hit their husbands, and and I'm just trying to look, I'm just buying tofu. It's fine. I'm just trying to get my fucking vegetables, people, but I can't because I'm getting ogled and goggled. I'm not wearing, by the way, I'm not doming at Kroger either. I am wearing a pair of jeans and a t-shirt like a normal person, but I still, for whatever fucking reason, can't get through there without just something. And so when COVID happened, I was like, yes, because I didn't have to go to the grocery store anymore. I didn't have to be objectified by every single person in there. I didn't have to have somebody ask me for my phone number, ask me if I needed help with something, ask me if I needed, would you like me to take this to your car for you? Would you like me to do this for you? Would you like me to eat your pussy for you while we're there? No, I'm good. Thank you. I appreciate the offer, but I am 100% capable. I promise you, dude.
Sure.
Like, just let me go to the grocery store. Fuck.
So
And
this is so funny. I'm going to talk to you until your headset dies or for maybe 30 more minutes, right? We agreed to about, right? But this leads us into the next question. So it's like the perfect segue back in. And we've already talked about some of this.
Let's do it.
But what challenges have you faced in this profession and how have you overcame them?
What challenge? Okay. The biggest challenges I have faced is myself. I have fought with myself. I have fought with myself on a moral and mental and emotional level to the extent of no other. For a long time, I really questioned myself and what it is I was doing. Was I just giving people the rope they needed? Was I allowing people to engage in their very worst and most devious behaviors? Was I the reason that, this husband and wife are now no longer happy? Because let's face it, 95% of my clients are married. And I struggled with that in my mind for many years. And the conclusion that I've come to is this: people are of their own mind, their own spirit, their own thought. I will never force anyone's hand. Will I put my advertisement out there? 100%. Will I ever, cold call somebody? Will I ever draw someone in? No. You have to come find me. You have to, these are the decisions you make. These are the choices you make. What you choose to do from there, it's truly none of my business. I don't need to know about your personal life. Your personal life isn't of interest to me. I want to know what you want to do here. What do you want to do with me? What do you want to fulfill here, now, right now? I don't care about what's the external. And I prefer to live in the moment, and I choose to only stay in that space. I've been in situations before where my client was very uncomfortable. His phone won't stop ringing. He's very he's clearly put himself in a predicament of some sort where it's not, and that's not worth it to me. That's not what I signed up for. I didn't sign up to be a contamination of a unit. I am truly just.
Well, you can't be responsible for that, Nicco.
No, I don't feel that I am.
Fair. I mean, that's
but for a long time I struggled with it. I wasn't sure, and maybe I am. Maybe I am the reason. Maybe I am the reason that this person has now left his wife and has moved across the country because I've had it happen. And it's very, it shook me, because what I do for work became someone else's, my realm of fantasy. My job has now become someone's reality, to the extent of leaving their wives, leaving their kids, getting a divorce, and showing up on my doorstep. Here I am. Take me as I am. Well, I don't want you. And in that capacity, I don't. And what in the world? And it's because they've somehow romanticized the relationship that we have that we don't have. We do have something intimate and something shared, but it's It's a midlife
professional
crisis.
relationship.
Exactly. It's a midlife crisis. It's not love, dear.
Yeah. I interviewed Master Dan and Dawn a while back, and he
Honey.
framed it really well, and I can't remember exactly how he said it, but the one word that I do remember, he said that a lot of times subs are... Well, I guess there's our conversation.
I'm so sorry.
You're okay.
They're done.
You'll
Can't
just have
hear
to
you.
call me.
Talk your shit.
Well, I guess that is the episode. I appreciate you guys listening. I apologize for the abrupt ending. Nonetheless, thank you for joining